Why the Buffalo Bills are going to be stuffing the run versus the Pittsburgh Steelers. One thing we do know with Mason Rudolph is that he's not a scrambling running quarterback, and that does not pose a threat to this Buffalo Bills defense. And usually when you have a scrambling running quarterback, you have to spy someone on defense or it takes another defender out of the play. But with no threat from Mason Rudolph running the ball himself, the Buffalo Bills can just keen in on the run like Najee Harris and also Jaylen Warren. The first game of the season, the Bills went against Breece Hall, who's one of the young emerging running backs in this league, and you could see that Breece Hall actually had an excellent game. He had 10 carries for 127 yards, but we all know what happened during this game. Aaron Rodgers got hurt, popped his Achilles 3-4 plays into the game, and Zach Wilson came in, who was a running, scrambling quarterback. Mainly the reason why he had such a large number of yards rushing was on this play, an unbelievable play by Breece Hall, but majority of yards coming off one play. It wasn't like he beat us all game long. 10 carries for 100-plus yards. Now, the following week, the Bills went against Josh Jacobs, who's known to be one of the best running backs in the NFL, and we can clearly see that Josh Jacobs did nothing. He actually had 9 carries for -2 yards. The Buffalo Bills clearly stopped the run in this matchup. Against the Washington Commanders and Brian Robinson, another dynamic running back, Bills win 37-3, but Brian Robinson, 10 carries for only 70 yards, holding him to under 100 yards. Goes back to the point of Sam Howell being a running type quarterback, fully capable of keeping the ball himself and running it. Bills had to worry about Sam Howell running the football, and we were still able to stop the run here. Even Antonio Gibson, a halfway decent running back, only 2 carries for 17 yards. Raheem Mostert leading the NFL in rushing touchdowns as a running back, and Devon Achane, one of the speediest, fastest running backs with Tyreek Hill, Jaylen Waddle, and all the explosives on that Miami Dolphins offense. We could see he had 8 carries for 101 yards and 2 rushing touchdowns. Again, not a lot of carries, but a lot of speed, a lot of creativity by the Miami Dolphins, something that we've discussed in my previous videos that the Pittsburgh Steelers are not doing, not using a lot of creativity on offense. See here that Raheem Mostert had 7 carries for 9 yards. Bills have to travel all the way to London on that dirty London turf where we had to waste one of our home games and play a team that was already there for 2 weeks, and we could see Travis Etienne, one of a great running back in the league, 26 total carries, 136 yards, and 2 rushing touchdowns. Keep in mind, this was the game that Daquan Jones got hurt. This was the game that Matt Milano got hurt. We didn't have the depth on our team. We didn't know how to adjust this defense at that point. The Bills go against the New York Giants and Brian Daboll, who's awfully familiar with Sean McDermott's defense, with Saquon Barkley, Tyrod Taylor, another scrambling running back, and the Bills hold Saquon Barkley to 24 carries for 93 yards. We could even see that Tyrod Taylor had 5 carries for 24 yards. Matt Breida, next Buffalo Bill, had 4 carries for 13 yards. Yes, this isn't great by any means, but the Buffalo Bills still did their part. The following week, without Daquan Jones, without Matt Milano, we held our own against the New York Giants. New England Patriots, we all know, with Ramondre Stevenson, a great running back. We could see Ramondre Stevenson, 9 carries for only 34 yards. Patriots really tried to run the ball again in this game with not only Ramondre Stevenson, but Ezekiel Elliott with 11 carries for only 31 yards. Buccaneers with Rachaad White, only 9 carries for 39 yards. Then the Bills go against the Bengals with Joe Burrow and also Joe Mixon. Mixon had 14 carries for only 37 yards and 1 rushing touchdown. The Bills were starting to figure out their run defense without Daquan Jones, without Matt Milano. In an unfortunate loss against the Denver Broncos, Javonte Williams, another great running backs, all the great running backs that we're going against so far here in 2023, 21 carries for only 79 yards. Russell Wilson, he could definitely move too. I mean, he's not the fastest anymore, but Russell Wilson had 9 carries for 30 yards. the Bills actually did fairly decent stopping the run in this game. Now the Bills get redemption and go against the New York Jets again, and what happens? The proof is there that the Buffalo Bills are already improving against the run. Because Breece Hall this game had the same amount of carries, but only 23 yards, unlike that first matchup when he went over 100 yards. Even Dalvin Cook, James Cook's brother, 2 carries for 13 yards. And the Eagles with Jalen Hurts, clearly a running type quarterback, and DeAndre Swift, a great running back, had 14 carries for 80 yards. Jalen Hurts in this game, he had 14 carries himself for 65 yards and 2 rushing touchdowns. So the proof is there. The Bills are going against a Pittsburgh Steelers team that doesn't have a mobile quarterback, maybe a decent running back with Jaylen Warren and Najee Harris, but the Bills should be able to key in on these running backs. When the Bills played the Kansas City Chiefs, Isaiah Pacheco was out, so they had to rely on Clyde Edwards-Helaire, who had 11 carries for 39 yards. The Dallas Cowboys with Tony Pollard, you could see Tony Pollard, 11 carries for 52 yards. It's not like we're getting crushed by the run anymore. At this point in the season, during the gauntlet, the Buffalo Bills bring in Linval Joseph. We supplement the loss of Trey White on the outside with Rasul Douglas. We started figuring out ourselves. Jordan Phillips stepping up, Poona Ford, Tim Settle, finally getting a grip on this Sean McDermott defense. Sean McDermott just understanding what to do. Against the LA Chargers, we go against Easton Stick, who is a running mobile quarterback, and we held Austin Eckler, one of the best running backs in the NFL, to 15 carries, 65 yards. It's not like they're going over 100 yards. It's not like we're getting totally thrashed in the run department. We can clearly see here that Easton Stick had 7 carries for 25 yards and a rushing touchdown. Bills versus Patriots, round 2, Ramondre Stevenson out, Ezekiel Elliott is there, and sure enough, Ezekiel Elliott, 14 carries, 39 yards, and 1 rushing touchdown. Not like he had prolific stats against the Bills. Last week, the Bills get redemption against the Miami Dolphins here, going against Devon Achane, 10 carries, 56 yards, and 1 rushing touchdown. I mean, those really are not the best stats. To me, we've gone against much better, more dynamic running backs this season. Whether you take a look at Jaylen Warren and his scat back ability, he's supposed to be that speedy, shifty, agile type running back for the Pittsburgh Steelers. But you look at the running backs that we have gone against, like Tony Pollard, Travis Etienne, and others this season, the Buffalo Bills have gone against more explosive running backs than what Jaylen Warren presents. Jaylen Warren has a low center of gravity. He's much thicker. He reminds me more of a Ty Johnson type. And the Buffalo Bills have a Ty Johnson on our team for iron, sharpening iron. Even James Cook, if Jaylen Warren was explosive, as agile as James Cook, we are preparing ourselves for this upcoming game versus the Steelers. And Najee Harris, a definite fuller running back that's just going to plant his foot in the ground and drive. Well, we had Damian Harris at the beginning of the year, iron sharpening iron. We had Latavius Murray practicing here against this Buffalo Bills defense all season long. Plus, Leonard Fournette, Pro Bowl Lenny, playoff Lenny is here helping out the Buffalo Bills get ready for this matchup versus the Pittsburgh Steelers. And let's not forget, we added Linval Joseph. Daquan Jones is now back. Both of them could easily be lined up right next to one another against a team that's just going to go macho, macho. Not a lot of creative plays on offense due to mainly firing their offensive coordinator. They haven't come up with a lot. They've really simplified their offense. And really, when you look at what the Buffalo Bills have struggled against this season, reflecting back to all of the running backs I just showed you, it boils down to speed. It boils down to creative plays on offense. It boils down to a lot of eye candy. And it boils down to the Buffalo Bills being depleted due to injuries. And that is not the case anymore. So for me personally, I believe the Buffalo Bills are going to come out and stuff the run. Najee Harris, Jaylen Warren are not going to go anywhere. I believe this Buffalo Bills Bills defense is going to be ready to go, especially even with Jaylen Spector. Jaylen Spector is another sleeper on this Buffalo Bills team that I think is going to flash during this wild card game and be talked about a lot in the media, especially after the game. Tyrel Dodson is looking like he's going to be out. Taylor Rapp is going to be out for this game, which are huge losses for the Bills, but we have proved to be fully capable of stopping the run, especially with Daquan Jones, Linval Joseph holding up that offensive line, allowing these linebackers and other playmakers on our team to come up and make plays. But I want to hear your thoughts. Drop them in the comments section below. Do you think the Buffalo Bills are actually going to stop the run fully against the Pittsburgh Steelers? And I think we're going to be committed to stopping the run too as well. Sean McDermott is going to refuse to get beat by the run. He's going to put the ball in Mason Rudolph's hands. He's going to force Mason Rudolph to beat the Bills, passing that ball against Jordan Poyer, Micah Hyde, who are in their 7th season together, and also Rasul Douglas, Christian Benford, Dane Jackson, whoever it is back there, Taron Johnson, everybody, Terrell Bernard, the second best linebacker statistically in the NFL this season. I think Bills are going to have some great opportunities for turnovers. We're going to stop the run and force Mason Rudolph to throw that ball. But I appreciate you guys all so much. If you enjoyed this video, I deeply appreciate it. If you hit like, subscribe for future content. That's how you're going to support me and my efforts for the future of this channel. You guys are all awesome. This game is going to be a blast. Get ready, Bills Mafia. We're going to get into this next round of the playoffs. Appreciate you, and go Bills.